This portion of Lee Pitts Live is brought to you by Hodges University, educating the leaders of our community for over 20 years.
Boom. Got the banker. Now, where in the world are you going to get a partnership between Goodwill Industry and bankers? Tell us how that partnership emerged, Elliot.
Well, Lee, it started after we put together this MicoEnterprise Institute to help low-income, disadvantaged people who'd like to start their own business. Mm-hmm. And so we're looking at that. Well, what do they all need? They all need some capital, some money. And so since we're directing it towards low-income people, I scratched my head and I said, now how can we find a way to kickstart these businesses? And so Florida Community Bank has been a backer of the program right from the beginning in 2010. And so we got together and came up with a solution where we raise money from the private sector, mm-hmm. and we will guarantee a micro loan to a graduate of our institute for up to $5,000 to help them kickstart their new business.
I think that's really a great way to get people started on their own business, but also create employment for themselves eventually down the road. Is that the objective?
Yes, we've had 266 graduates in the 4 years. 81 of them have started new businesses, and they've created employment for over 115 people.
Now, Nancy, why did Florida Community Bank feel that it was great for them to get involved with this at the early stages?
Well, we've been a partner of Goodwill's for many years. Like Elliot mentioned, they came to us back in 2010 when our bank was actually formed, and having very similar markets as Goodwill, we felt part of what our middle name is, Florida Community Bank, is that we do need to give back to the community. This is an exciting program that our bank felt to be a founding member, not only to provide grants and support for administrative and operating, but then collateral to help the graduates of the program actually apply for a loan.
And I think the fact that you guys jumped in early as a founding member, that could other bankers, because you guys could bring other bankers in and say, hey, here's how this works, join us in this great movement. And what's been the response from other bankers joining into the whole process?
Actually, we've had many banks that have come either to our bank directly or directly to Elliot to find out how they can also join, because we realize our responsibility is not to help just the large commercial people that are looking for development loans, but also to help the small micro lending loans anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000. A lot of banks don't promote that they offer this type of program, so for us to be able to partner with an organization such as Goodwill that has such great community reputation, it's a win-win for both.
Excellent. Elliot, go ahead and expound upon the microloan concept. I know one of the things is these microloans are guaranteed. Go ahead and educate our audience.
Well, the MicoEnterprise program is a set of 12 modules that was created by the Kauffman Foundation in Kansas City, and it takes them step by step in what you need to know to start a new business. It's called a feasibility plan. We take them into marketing, we take them into how to do the cash flow, how to do the break-evens, and how to check out the competition. And when they are done, then they'll know whether their idea is feasible. Mm-hmm. We have people come in who say, gee, I'd like to start a restaurant because I'm a good cook. Well, by the time they get through the feasibility plan, they know they need probably $100,000 or $200,000 and work 17 hours a day.
And I think that's a good point in that process of going through this feasibility plan. Before I get into my question, how long is that period before you get through the process?
The 12 modules, we do 2 nights a week from 6 to 9 p.m., usually Monday and Thursdays.
At locations right here in Southwest Florida.
Right, in the 5-county area.
Right, and we got a phone number information where people can get those locations. But people get to learn that they get to save themselves a lot of heartburn too by, in many cases, realizing that they need to switch directions and what they're doing by going through that study. And I think the feasibility process, I think that's really good, right?
Absolutely, and the statistics prove that, where with the 266 graduates we've had, 81 of them have started new businesses.
Excellent. Now, Nancy, the whole idea that they do the feasibility study, they make them discipline themselves before they even can get to the money, because you can weed some people out like that. I know that if they don't have the discipline to go through the training, then they can, so that's a bad client in the first place. But that process, how does that make the bankers feel?
Actually, it makes us feel very comfortable because not only have they taken the 12 different courses, but they've committed to 6 solid weeks worth of classes. So once they actually graduate from the class, then they have the opportunity to go back to Goodwill and apply for the microlending funds.
Okay, when we come back, we're going to take a look at the commercial that we have that's airing here that's really popular. Let's take a look, and we'll come back and talk about the lending criteria. Let's go.
Do you want to be your own boss? Goodwill MicoEnterprise can help. In less than 2 months, Goodwill MicoEnterprise can help you turn your dream into a reality. Get advice and coaching from successful business owners on how you can do what you love and make a living doing it. You don't even need a lot of money to get started, just a great idea and the desire to make it happen. Don't just dream of being your own boss. Call Goodwill MicoEnterprise at 866-995-2106, extension 2219, or visit goodwillswfl.org.
Boy, I tell you, that's a really nice commercial. Nancy, as a banker, what has been your experience in working with this program through Goodwill Industries?
Actually, because we have great open communication with Goodwill and they have the direct client contact, when we receive the package from Goodwill, it is pretty much just crossing the T's and checking the I's to make sure that we're in line according to the program guidelines. We turn it around within 2 days. Turnaround Goodwill will actually open up a certificate from the dollars that we've raised in the community to act as collateral, and we're ready to close.
That's excellent. Now, a program like this, you don't look at it like a traditional banker would look at it. Tell us some uniquenesses to the way you may look at a deal that a traditional bank may not look at. Credit report, and that's it,
Right. Well, actually, because of the program guidelines that we put together back in 2010, we realized we had to be a lot more flexible. Credit scores may not be where they need to be for typical bankable type loan deals, or maybe there's no collateral, or a startup. Many banks do not get into the business of startup businesses because first of all, $2,000 to $5,000 loan is not profitable for the bank, but possibly because, again, we need to give new starts to new people and new businesses that we felt, yes, we are in from day one.
Talk about some of the businesses, Elliot, that have gotten microloans or that are in your program.
Well, we've done 9 loans so far. We started the program last October. We did $5,000 for a gentleman who makes really outstanding birdhouses. He's a disabled veteran, and his wife is disabled also, and he's doing very well. We've helped him develop a website. We have one woman who was here on your program earlier, Phoenicia, is doing online high-style women's clothes.
Right, I remember her.
Yes, outstanding graduate, and now a coach. And we have a catering facility. We have a wedding events planner. We have a mobile car detailing. We have a woman who most recently has gotten her entire family of 8 children involved in being a mobile mechanic.
Wow. So you really got an eclectic, a wide range. So if people got ideas, they need to get in touch with you. And then if they meet your criteria for being admitted into the program, then they can go on to get in that money. Now, what advice would you give people, Nancy, who may not be in the program but still need access to capital?
Well, of course, our first reference would be going to Goodwill because the education and the understanding of what you're getting yourself into is very, very important. So if there's not a Goodwill in the area, we do encourage, not only as a banker, but as a community person myself, to check out some other local opportunities, whether it be checking with your local Chamber of Commerce to find out if there are startup opportunities, checking with SCORE, retired executives, checking with some of your local colleges or universities, the small business development centers that not only Goodwill but our banks also partner with, to give people that do want to start up the education to understand up front what it's going to take to run a business.
Okay, and we also want to make sure that people know that they can get in touch with Nancy through Goodwill, that number that's on the screen. Final question. Programs like this don't just happen by osmosis. It takes a lot of community involvement. What do we need to keep this type of program going, Elliot?
Well, we need to have a continual source of funds, whether it's from the community or from foundations or from philanthropists or people who just want to give back. And also the other leg of the stool is that we need participants. And we need people to go to the website and sign up and look at which location is most closest to where they live and sign up for one of our 14 classes that we're doing this year.
Throughout Southwest Florida.
Right.
Well, lady and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure having you both on the show. And let's bump you out. And keep up the good work, okay?
Great,
Thank you.
As the saying goes on this particular show, for those who say it can't be done, they're usually interrupted by those like these fine people who are associated with the Goodwill microenterprise loans who are doing it.